Hi everyone, my name is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. So you are watching my January bullet journal setup. This is the first month of 2022, and I decided to do a theme similar to one that I did a couple of years ago. I'm going to link that for you, but it is basically the Aurora Borealis. So I've never technically done this before, similar though, because I did a galaxy theme once. So what I decided to do is, because the bullet journal I'm currently using in this setup is of regular paper, I believe the paper is 100 GSM, and I didn't want to ruin it using paint. So I decided to use different paper, and this isn't even the paper you should be using with acrylic paints. So yes, I am using acrylic paints in this painting, and I'm using watercolor paper. So if you want to do something similar, don't do what I did. Use a mixed media paper or something meant for acrylics. But you know what? Overall, it turned out okay, and I really liked it because I wanted my paint to be a little bit more watery this time, so I decided to use the watercolor. So, in saying that, you'll see that I've made a few mistakes in this painting, and I've gone over it quite a few times. And it's to be expected. Acrylic paint covers really, really well, so if you do happen to make a mistake, it's usually not an issue if you decide to layer it. And that is something that I've done in this picture. I've layered it many times over, and I find that even though it's acrylic and it's fairly opaque, you still get this like certain dimension if you layer it, and it really blends well too, which is why I love working with acrylics. So I decided to do two different pictures for my bullet journal. I did one for the cover page on the right side with the name of the month, and then on the left side I just did a tiny little calendar, which you're going to see shortly. And I continue layering paint. So some of these pictures I had referenced online. They're not exactly the same. I just wanted something that stood out, and I think out of the Aurora Borealis, the pink and green is probably my favorite. You'll see quite a few works of art, of actual paintings, where the Aurora Borealis is not um, not painted as close to nature as possible. It's quite a bit different. So I wanted to stay as close to that as I could, but at the same time, you would be surprised at some of the pictures that actually look like they're painted, but it is something that you would find in real life. So you would be surprised. So as we continue with this, I'm not linking any of the paintbrushes that I used today because honestly, a lot of these paintbrushes have been with me from when I was in my early 20s, potentially since I was 18. I've always been an artist. I've always loved to paint and color with colored pencils. It's probably my favorite medium. But I couldn't name any of these brushes because some of them I got from Kits, some of them I got from Michaels, and I can't even begin to tell you which ones I got from where. The paint is, that one is from Michaels. It's the basic acrylic. I'll try to leave a link for the paint down below in the description box from Amazon, but yeah, it's hard to track down the brushes. So I'm moving on to the second painting, and even though I said the first color, like the pink and green in the Aurora Borealis is my favorite, I think this painting is my favorite out of the two, and it's probably because I've added pink and purple to the color scheme. This is also very similar. It was similar to a picture found in nature, and it is still Aurora Borealis, but again, it's just a little bit of a different color scheme. And again, you're going to find that I layer the paint quite a bit. And in this one, I do use a couple of different techniques where I smudge it with my finger. I even use the paper towel to blend out the color, and I use cross-hatching techniques with my paintbrush. So there's just a variety of different techniques I've used to get a really pretty blend. And again, I had another mistake where a couple of times I made mistakes where I added too much white paint, and I had to go over in layers to make it look better. So here's where I begin to layer in the color for the Aurora Borealis. And I think this just looks so sharp with that tinge of blue into the black sky. And I think this is probably my favorite color combination ever. But in order to make it look authentic, I did do up and down strokes to make it appear as if the Aurora Borealis was moving. I don't know if I captured that effect, but I really did try. And the other thing that makes it look more authentic is when you add some stars into the background. And that's also one of my favorite things to do, especially the technique of splattering your paintbrush when the ink or when the paint is really, really wet. And you can see there I made a mistake with the white paint, but I went ahead and did the stars anyway. But you'll see that I go ahead in and I fix it, and it does turn out all right. So this is the part where I add some trees in the foreground. And the purpose of this is as a shadow. So when I first started this painting, I had a completely different look in mind. And I'm glad I decided to go with the trees and the stars because I feel like I'm just kind of, I don't know, maybe it's my personal style. I was going to do like a shadow of an animal and it just didn't feel right to me. I wanted to do like the backdrop of a forest, and this particular picture is probably my favorite. I love it so, so much. And the way I painted it on the page, it was difficult to cut out, which you'll see when we get to the bullet journal, but I think I made it work in the end. All right, you guys, we finally made it to the bullet journal. So this bullet journal that I'm using is a Compoko notebook. I will try to leave a link for their website down below. I am not affiliated with them, but I do really love their journals. They're really, really neat looking. And I placed these on the page just to give it some form of, I guess, artistic, I always say artistic expression, but I just wanted to basically be different. So I didn't want to do the same thing that I always do. I wanted it to look different and be different. And because the painting took a little bit longer, the rest of the bullet journal spread is going to be very, very minimal. Let me tell you right now, um, this color of Tombow Dual Brush Pen, I believe, don't quote me, I believe it's 243, but I'll leave it linked down below. I called it mint green. And I had planned to use all of these different galaxy colors, and I decided against it, and I stayed with the one color. So now, you guys, I have transitioned to a Franklin planner for my home and catch-all planner and my happy planner work for my business life. And now I still decided to go ahead and do a calendar on the left page and then my content schedule on the right page. And the reason for that is this notebook is small enough that I can carry it around, and I'm going to use it as a reference only. So say for instance, I have my bullet journal on me, but not my other planners, which I normally would never take my work planner with me. But in case I had to reference it for some reason, I'm going to have it in this notebook. Generally, I have kind of taken out all of my work stuff from my bullet journal, and I have changed my bullet journal drastically within the last, I'd say, for 4 months or so. I used to do weeklies, and now I only do pretty much artistic stuff in my bullet journal. So I had a focus goals because I'm working on this 12-week year system. So I've got some biz ideas on this page just for additional notes because I've got a lot going on. I also decided to do a daily success page because I find that it is easy to get discouraged, especially when things don't always go to plan, right? You could call this a daily win, and I just feel like it's very important to pretty much highlight the good things that happen to you in your day, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your home life, it doesn't matter. It's just really positive things that happen. The next two spreads are gratitude and affirmations. So I do have these as my daily goals. So I thought adding them to my bullet journal would just help me to complete them. I do have another journal that I use for these as well, but because it's kind of put on a shelf and I don't really look to it as much, I feel like maybe that's why I'm not tracking them every day. So let's hold myself accountable and hopefully this works. And you'll see me going back to the cover page every now and then because the paint wasn't quite dry and it was sticking together, so that is why. So this is my weight tracker, and I think I've carried this along through pretty much every single bullet journal spread I've had, and it's really simple. I just do a graph, and I don't show this online because it's personal information that I don't want to share. And the next side is my dream log. So I feel like I talk about this every month too. I feel like it's almost not valuable anymore because I haven't had any dreams. When I do have dreams is going to be the day when I don't do a dream log because I haven't dreamt. So I continue doing the dream log just in case. And now, of course, we move on to the most essential page of all. Sorry, that was my daughter's hand. She wanted to bullet journal with us. So a habit tracker for me is basically tracking all of the maintenance habits that I have in my life. I call it maintenance habit, but I guess I use it interchangeably with maintenance goals. A maintenance goal is something that I track on a daily or weekly basis. In this case, they're all daily habits for the most part. And it's just something that's important to me that I need to continue to do, but it's not part of a larger project, if that makes sense. And the mood tracker down below, I've really been liking the bar graph style of mood tracker that I've been doing. So I just continue to go with it because it's easy, it's simple to set up, and it's also easy to follow through with every month. I do notice that a lot of times, anyone who bullet journals, you can set up the most elaborate, beautiful spreads in hopes that you'll follow up every single day or week or whatever the case is, but then you still fall through. And I think it's a matter of simplicity, but it's also a matter of usage. So you just have to look at those pages every day and remind yourself they're there so you follow up with it. I'm now doing a doodle a day, so this is just a challenge I do for myself, and I'll just pick a picture and draw it, and it'll be a new one every day. The last spread is my habit of lettering. So I've been getting better and practicing at lettering. I don't necessarily do calligraphy, I do a little bit of everything. So that is it for my bullet journal setup. We're going to have the flip through here shortly, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you so much for your continued support. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Also, click subscribe if you are new here because I would love to have you and to join our family here. And last but not least, click on the bell button to be notified every time I upload a new video. That way you won't miss a single one, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.